Throughout the night, I got so scared that I scooted closer to Cindy to sleep like a little closer.
The way I forgot about the book immediately after we finished vlogging, and I was just like... We are in Vietnam, which is very fitting because the first book that I am starting for this vlog is She is a Haunting, and that is by a Vietnamese author. So I am starting this book knowing nothing about it other than the fact that it is a horror book. I found out that this is a Vietnamese American main character who is in Vietnam visiting her family, more specifically her dad, who's trying to reconstruct this house and turn it into an inn. Her family is from southern Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So of course, to go along with this, we also had to go to Ho Chi Minh City for this week. So her mom's from there, but now she is going to central Vietnam where her dad's inn is. So after this, we're gonna go to central Vietnam as well. We're basically just gonna follow this bitch everywhere.
Oh my god. That book is about us because we're the ghosts that are following her.
Oh yeah? We're the ones haunting her, actually. That's a twist here. Before we get into the rest of the vlog, I wanna say thank you to today's sponsor. I think there's a big overlap when it comes to manga fans or Asian drama fans with webtoon fans. And for me, as someone who grew up reading shoujo manga, I was scouring whatever romance webtoons I could find there. But what I'm most excited for is the webtoon See You in My 19th Life. This popped up on my radar because when I was on Netflix, I saw that they made an adaptation for this webtoon. So the main character in this story has an extraordinary ability where she has all the memories of her past lives. There is this 18th life that she has that gets tragically cut short because of some accident. So she decides in her 19th life that she's gonna try to reconnect with all of the people that were in her previous life before, including the man that she fell in love with. I'm also a sucker for the trope of soulmates, and that's the kind of vibe that I get from this premise. So if you're interested in checking it out with me, I will have a link in my description where you can just click on it and go directly to the series and read it for yourself. And now let's go ahead and get back to the rest of the vlog. I think it's cool to read about a Vietnamese American girl who's going to Vietnam while I'm also going to Vietnam. So we're both Vietnamese, but we were both born in America, and we have never been to Vietnam ever until this week. We have arrived. What do you think of it so far?
The weather is so fucking humid.
Here's the thing that I noticed about this book. This book does not describe the humidity at all. If they really wanted to be accurate with the shit of a Vietnamese American visiting Vietnam, she needs to fucking mention how hot it is literally every single page.
And the character must have been like, fuck, it's so fucking hot. It's melting.
Exactly.
Especially she's from the US.
Yeah,
it's
like
just going
hello.
here different. Aside from the weather, the food here, so good. I fucking love it. Like even though it's food I've had in the US, it's just not the same as like here, you know, because it's cooked here, the ingredients are from here, produced locally. Some of the things that are on there, legit, some of the best things I've ever eaten.
I feel like it's very obvious we look American.
Especially with all of our backpacks, and we're fucking sweating like shit, and the locals here, it was fucking 96 degrees the other day. So I see so many people wearing parkas, jackets, sweaters, like hood up, sunglasses, face masks. I was like, y'all are a fucking different breed, because I was already melting looking at them and just wearing a t-shirt and shorts and sweating my entire life.
I think what's interesting is that since her dad is remodeling where they're at to become an inn, and it's gonna be like a tourist experience, they really lean into the European influences of just the fact that Vietnam has been colonized by the French. So obviously there's like themes in this book about colonialism. I think it's also interesting because I was reading this while we were walking around Vietnam, and there are so many buildings that clearly have European influences with like the architectural style.
Cathedral, this big one.
I think what draws tourists in is like those European styles as well in Vietnam, but it's just like in a more exotic setting. It's like Europe, but now it has a little bit of an Oriental twist because it's in Vietnam. So she says, I don't look at Vietnam and think Europe. What I see is a version of the place mom and ba left behind, and also where I could have grown up with a language that I would know fluently, paternal family to possibly love me, and a history that would finally be known. All these things were taken from me before I was even born. How do you feel about being an American in Vietnam? Because something that I noticed when I was starting to read this book, and what I noticed about like every other book that is about an Asian American character, is that they feel like they don't belong. They're American, but they're not like fully Asian, but they're not fully American either. To other white people, they're not considered American enough. To other Asians, they're not considered Asian enough. And so this girl, she feels like super out of place in Vietnam because she doesn't really fit in anywhere. I feel like that's a very common storyline that I see for a lot of like Asian American stories. Do you feel that way when you're in Vietnam?
Yeah, honestly, in a way, it's sort of relatable because when I'm here, I feel not out of place exactly, but wish I had more understanding of my parents in terms of like knowing the language better and understanding, the language in that way so that I could communicate better with the people here. Because sometimes when I do speak Vietnamese to them with what Vietnamese that I can, I feel like a sense of accomplishment. Like, oh my God, I did that. Like, I was able to get my order across and everything. But when I show them like the Google Translate, I'm like, God, I'm such a fraud. Like,
wow, you really feel that way?
Yeah.
That you're a fraud? Oh my God. Now you being a YA protagonist.
What can I say? So I wish, as a kid when I hear that, oh, you're gonna regret not knowing the language when you grow up. So fucking true. Yeah.
Man.
How do you feel?
I don't know. I just never related to those stories like that. I don't feel like I have those identity issues. I don't feel connected to the culture, but I'm not like being angsty about it like a lot of the main characters are.
Do you feel out of place if you were in like a room full of white people and you're the only Asian?
Well, yeah, I would feel out of place too, but it's not like in a low self-esteem way. I'd be like, wow, this room I'm in is very white.
What about if you were in a room like a house full of Asian people who are from here and they're talking and chatting to each other? How would you feel? And they were trying to talk to you, like engage, but...
I wouldn't see it as like a reflection of myself. I would just be like, oh wow, I just happen to be in this room of like a bunch of Asians that I cannot speak the language. I'm not gonna like feel bad about it.
Basically, she's like, I am no fish out of water.
I read these kinds of storylines and I'm like, is this like the only storyline we're gonna see from Asian Americans? But I guess that's like a universal feeling and I'm just like the weird bitch that doesn't feel that way. You know what I do think is accurate though? Okay, so immediately from chapter 1, it's established that the main character hates her dad because her dad left the family when she was like younger. So this bitch has daddy issues. And I'm like, yo, that, you know what? That is authentic to the Vietnamese experience.
Yeah.
So I will give them that.
Into the book?
I'm like in the middle of chapter 11, so not that far.
Is it scary?
I don't really get scared of like horror books. So far there's been a lot of bugs that are just mysteriously dying and she doesn't know why.
She's like, it's the humidity, it's killing everything.
I know, right? She has to deal with like bugs and insects and shit, just constantly dying. And I'm like, you know what? That's pretty typical of Asia anyway.
Literally the other day we saw a fucking lizard crawling all over the wall.
Yeah.
We were both scared.
We were so scared. That's our horror story.
I was like, it's a fucking lizard! It was so harmless and it looked like a baby, and every time I got close to it to grab it with a cup, it would just scuttle away and we would both scream. Swear to God. The haunting, the ghost wouldn't even scare me. It's the fucking weather.
She's been having sleep paralysis too. Like she'll wake up.
That's kind of scary actually.
I've never had sleep paralysis before.
No.
Have you?
Yes.
Ooh, I heard it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah, she can't like move at all. My sister would get that too. I think like the scary story is that, oh, that means a ghost is sitting on your chest. chest. That's why you can't move.
Oh my god. Ew, don't say that.
Are you scared now?
Ew. Yes, we're in a country where ghosts are very susceptible and like.
What do you mean ghosts are susceptible? Like an
ghosts
actual
are
thing
huge
here.
in like, especially third world Asian countries, I think.
Well, do you believe it? Because I don't.
It's not that I believe it, but I don't know. The veil's thin here, so shh.
You're such a classic YA character. If I just stood in the middle of the room here and I was like, ghost, come here now, sleep on our chest.
Stupid.
Would you really be scared?
No, I'd have been like, you are just a dumb bitch. Like, that doesn't happen like that.
Bugs have been dying. She gets sleep paralysis. She would like throw up blood or something and she doesn't know why, but she's like convinced.
I would have been like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the hospital. Take a picture with my phone. I threw up blood.
I'm like, this girl better have travel insurance. This bitch ain't okay.
I'm like, oh my god, it's COVID. My early onset, if I see bugs dying, I wouldn't even think twice about it. It's the fucking heat, man. If I threw up blood, dang it, I have food poisoning. I need to go to the hospital.
I got like,
nothing would convince me until I see like a fucking ghost.
Well, okay, so she has like this dream, right? She walks into the kitchen and there's like a woman there who had opened the fridge door, but she doesn't know who the woman is. And then like the woman turns to her. She's basically like a paranormal looking creature. She's like speaking in Vietnamese, but like the main girl doesn't understand.
She's like, Google Translate. Google Translate. What is this?
She's like, hello, Duolingo. So this ghost would tell her in Vietnamese, don't eat.
Don't eat? Is she trying to protect the little girl from her
food
poor
poisoning?
Yeah, her poor immune system. Don't eat this tree from the food stalls. You're gonna get food poisoning.
I wonder if I'll get diarrhea at some point in this trip because I got diarrhea in Thailand.
Don't jinx it.
I don't know. My tummy just felt weird today, but that's because we slept all day.
No, it's because she ate a whole fucking banh mi sandwich that was like 14 inches long.
Oh my god, yeah.
She ate a whole thing. It was huge. It's like literally bigger than my hand. It's like the size of my head. And she finished that shit in one night. I didn't even finish mine. It was like half.
Dude, you know why? It's because I got high, and so whenever I get high, I just can't stop eating. Anyway, so if any ghost wants to haunt us tonight,
stupid.
Let's live our own horror story.
Did not open that door.
She's now staying at her dad's place in central Vietnam, so we are gonna head there next.
We're gonna go to Hanoi, and apparently it's very beautiful there, according to some of the guys I've been talking to.
Alright, cool. We will update you next time as we read more of the book and we explore the rest of Vietnam. Bye.
Gotta say you mean it. You gotta say you mean it, honey. Say what you mean it. Or nothing at all.
Hello, update from me and Elias's arm. We are currently in central Vietnam, which is actually where most of the book takes place in. And you know what? I understand now why the main character's dad decided to set up a hotel in central Vietnam, because it's so much more tropical. I think it's more tourist friendly too. You could see more influences of French architecture when you go around. And so that's what we've been noticing just traveling around here so far. You can see Elias's butt. That's also one of the top sightseeing experiences. So last time when I was talking about all the weird shit the main character was seeing and we were updating the vlog, that night you got scared, remember?
I was in bed and everyone was asleep and all the lights were off. I was lying sleeping on this side and then there were drapes and curtains over here. I kept thinking about what we were talking about, like dead ghost girls and dead brides, and I kind of spooked myself into thinking there was a ghost with us because the blinds kept like moving and I was like, oh my god, I'm scared. And I started envisioning like a dead ghost bride, her feet like above my face and she was like being hung or whatever, and I scared myself so bad that I didn't want to pee.
Didn't you say you were like, oh my god, I'm scared, and then you scooted closer to me?
Yeah. So throughout the night I got so scared that I scooted closer to Cindy to sleep like a little closer.
The way I forgot about the book immediately after we finished vlogging, and I was just like,
I was spooked out, I was creeped out, I just scooted closer to you because you can protect me.
I will say, I feel like I'm enjoying this book more because I am in Vietnam while I'm reading the book. I feel like that has just enhanced the experience for me because I'm like in the same places that the main character is. So as an update, more spooky shit is happening, obviously. A lot of it's focused on like insects and bugs. They're just like crawling everywhere because this is
you should show them all the mosquito and bugs that have bitten your legs.
Oh my god, I have so many like mosquito bites everywhere. But they even bit my ass right here.
What ass?
They sucked all the ass cheek out. That's why I don't have an ass anymore. And they also bit through my sock. However, they don't talk about mosquitoes in the book, which is inaccurate. In real life, that girl would have been sucked everywhere by all the mosquitoes. This hotel also has ants crawling around our table.
Maybe what you're reading, you're truly manifesting it.
Yeah, this place is haunted, just like the book.
But go ahead, hunt away. I'm over it now. Cindy marriage is done.
You're not scared anymore?
No, I'm over it.
You've been through enough.
Exactly. This heat is killer enough already.
I will reveal something that happens in the book, but I guess it's a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear what the spoiler is, then skip ahead, or I'll have like some kind of placement somewhere that indicates when there are spoilers, so you can mute it, skip ahead, whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna start now. The main character finds out that the reason why the hotel that the dad is supposed to take care of is decrepit as fuck, and why there are fucking insects and bugs and ants crawling everywhere is because her dad got possessed by one of the ghosts here. That's why like the house is like literally being crawled over by bugs and insects, and she's poisoning the food too. That's how you're gonna like fucking die or something like that.
Yeah.
So she can't eat any of the food. And
She just go down the street into a street food stall and go get a bowl of pho then.
that's what she's been doing.
Oh really?
Yeah. But she's telling her sister, don't eat the fucking food here. It's
I
bad.
just like left and got like an Airbnb or some shit.
But her own dad is possessed too, so now she's trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
Yeah, goodbye.
You know what? She had daddy issues anyway. Bye.
The way I would have just been like, you're possessed, good fucking bye, I'm out of here.
The dad was a piece of shit even before he was possessed anyway, so.
Okay, well, good for him then, I guess.
There is a sapphic romance going on with her and like this other girl. I think it's cute. You know, it's all kinds of representation for me. Vietnamese representation, gay representation, daddy issues representation, being fucking haunted by ants and insects everywhere in a crusty hotel representation. That's the Southeast Asian experience for you. You don't even have to include the haunting part.
That's very true. What an experience. One you'll never forget.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes. You know, you're gonna have some horrific experience happen to you for you to believe in ghosts. It always
Yeah.
happens to the non-believers.
Well, I'm a non-believer and nothing has happened to me yet.
Not yet. Keyword, yet.
Okay, but you know what? I'm so unobservant of other people who are alive that what are the chances I would even observe people who are dead? I guess next time I update you, I will have finished the book. So tune in then. I will also be back in the US if I survive, unless the ghosts get me. In the meantime, I'm gonna get some ice cream because it's fucking hot out here. Get away. This is the real haunting. Your nasty ass foot.
Some floor of fame. Yeah, just before they blink. I'm standing in your shadow while you're waxing on my moon. Please forgive me, baby, but you got me on my knees. It's time for me to go. I got to kill this disease. Blast off, going away. Blast off, I'm leaving today 'cause I'm a spaceman. Yeah, I'm a spaceman.
just popping in to say that I have made it back to America. And when I was editing the vlog, I realized that I never filmed anything to update that I had finished the book. I actually finished it on the plane ride back from Vietnam because it was a long plane ride. Vietnam was great. It was fucking hot, as Elias and I were constantly emphasizing. So really, that's what the book should have been about. Like, if this American girl was visiting Vietnam, she should complain about the heat every other page. We already know she's an annoying teenager who bitches about everything. She could have at least bitched about the heat. Frankly, I don't know how she got anything done because the heat was intense. Also, forget any makeout scenes with her and her love interest. She would be too sweaty and gross to get into any of that. I'll get into my actual thoughts about the book, and this is where I'm gonna say, if you are the author or anyone associated with the author watching this video, you better click off right now. We were having some haha hee fun moments, but this is when I'm gonna start to get critical of the book, and I despise it whenever authors or people associated with the book snoop around and try to see what other people are saying about it, because it's not for you, okay? I am just a reader sharing my thoughts with other readers, but I am a random person on the internet. I saw that this book was on the bestseller list, so you're already fine. Who cares whatever criticisms I have to say? Do not continue this video because you will just hurt your feelings, and I don't want to be responsible for that because this was not meant for you anyway. So hopefully certain people have clicked off, or if they decide to stay on, here are the repercussions. I definitely think that this book needed another editor. You have a haunted house. The main character realizes she's in a haunted house, and her plan for most of the book to try to convince her dad that the house is haunted is to stage fake hauntings so that he'll believe it, which is the dumbest plan ever. If you have real hauntings in the house, then you can prove that by showing the real hauntings. You don't need to stage all this Scooby-Doo bullshit by writing creepy little messages on the shower door and pretending it's some murderer out to get someone. Like, it was just so ridiculous and dumb. To me, it felt like an excuse to take up more space in the book so that the main character would have something to do and for her to spend more time with her love interest. But there were so many parts of the book that felt unnecessary to me. I think the main character's motivations flip-flopped a lot. What actually would have been more compelling is if the book had focused on a father-daughter relationship. We've had this opportunity where the daughter is stuck in the house with her father, but we barely get any interactions between them. So certain things that happen with the dad later on, it's hard to feel any emotional stakes with that because we didn't really spend that much time with the dad or get to know the dad that much. So I think really honing in to the complexities of a father-daughter relationship, I feel like that would have gotten all the bitches out there with the daddy issues. They would have eaten that shit up. Obviously, there's a lot of animosity and resentment that the daughter feels for the dad, and to have that explored would have been interesting, especially because it was hinted the dad wanted to set up this inn as a way to get approval from other Vietnamese people because they almost see him as not fully Vietnamese because of the fact that he had left Vietnam to go to America. And so tapping into the parallel of like not just the main character's diaspora, but also his diaspora and his experiences, I think the author should have cut all the Scooby-Doo bullshit, started off really simple with the main girl just entering this inn to help her dad make a website, and her motivation is very simple. It's just to get this website, get her money, and get the fuck out of here because she's not interested in spending any time with her dad. And then she finds out that the house is haunted, and that compels her to investigate even further about why it's haunted. Then you find out about like the past history with the house and her ancestors and the colonialism and the effects of that upon her family. You get some moments between her and her dad, and then you see her motivation shifts from being like, oh, I'm just here to get my coin, to later on, I want to know more about what really went down with my family and my ancestors, because that helps further inform maybe why her dad and her are so fucked up today because of generational trauma. Instead, I feel like we got very surface level stuff. The main character just was not intelligent. I'm not even asking for any intelligence beyond a teenager's level. I'm just talking in common sense. I also read this book for a book club with other travelers that have been with me in Thailand and in Vietnam. Similarly, other people had felt meh about it. No one really got scared either from what I recall. I think that really the only person who got scared from this book was Elias when I told him the story about the ghost woman that was in front of the fridge. So at least the book scared one person. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my reading vlog. The next reading vlog that you'll see me post is one where I will be in Paris, so I'll be updating the books I read while I'm there. So stay tuned for that, and go ahead and unsubscribe from my channel, and goodbye.
Yeah,